Well, hello, in this random Linux stuff video we will have a look at fail2ban, which can help you to protect your system against attacks from the outside. It's a high-level overview to get you started, and it will end with a practical example. Now, as we've seen in other videos from this playlist, but all over the world actually, many systems use SSH to allow remote users to log in. Sometimes password authentication is used, but whenever possible one tends to use public key authentication to be protected against brute force attacks and dictionary attacks. Sometimes, however, one really wants or needs to enable password authentication, for example because of compliance reasons, or when a system is used by many users, some of which do not have the technical skills to generate their own key pair, or for when a user has lost its keys and needs to copy a new public key to the server. And I'm sure you can think of some other reasons as well. Now, how does fail2ban work? First of all, it monitors the logs of services like sshd and httpd and a lot more, at least when they are enabled in the fail2ban configuration. And when it detects a predefined number of failed login attempts, it will jump to an action. These actions can be manifold, but the default is that the host IP will be blocked by a firewall rule. Now let's have a look at some important parameters. First, there's the bantime. This is the number of seconds that the user will be blocked. And to make it easier, you can use formats like 30s for 30 seconds, or 5 minutes, or 2 weeks, etc. The default is 10 minutes, and if you want to ban forever, make sure it is -1. Then there's the max retry parameter, which determines the amount of failed attempts that will generate a firewall rule which will deny connection. And finally, the findtime, which determines the time span within which the max retry must have been reached. So if the findtime is 10 minutes and the max retry is set to 3, then 3 failed attempts should occur before 10 minutes have passed. And trust me, you can set hundreds of parameters to protect many services, but just to get you started we'll focus on sshd. What we'll do is we'll install fail2ban on a Rocky machine. Then we'll create a local config file called jail.local that we'll edit to protect against failed SSH logins. And we will test it, of course. So first we check whether firewalld is running, and it is. So then we install the extra packages repository, because with Rocky that's where fail2ban is located. Then of course we install fail2ban. And in the etc fail2ban directory we see that there's a file called jail.conf, and when we open it, it tells us that we should definitely not edit this file because this contains all the defaults. So we should use a different file, for example jail.local. So let's do that. So we create a new file, jail.local, in which we set our stuff for sshd. So we determine that the service is sshd, and we set it to enabled, and the ban time is 30 seconds. The max retry is 3, and we set the find time to 10 minutes. Now we save the file and enable and start the service. Now let's create a user, and we call it remote user, and we give the user a password. And then from another machine we connect to Rocky with that user. So we test whether we can log in with our password, and that works, and we log out again. And now we test fail2ban by entering an incorrect password 3 times. And obviously we're blocked by the firewall rule. So let's check that. And we see that the firewall rule blocks our host IP. And after 30 seconds the rule will be deleted automatically, and the remote user is able to log in again. And we're done.